Colanello, I am going to disagree with you. He is absolutely a capitalist, no two ways about it. But he is somebody who, while he is a libertarian, he actually had, if you follow him and you really understand where Massey is coming from, do you know that Massey has the cleanest carbon footprint out of any member of Congress?
He's like off the grid. He's
literally off the grid.
Yeah.
Like he lives off the grid on like, I don't know, like 50 acres of land in rural Kentucky.
Yeah.
He's
like he walks the walk. He walks the walk.
He is the real deal. And you know what? His votes speak volumes because he always votes principally when it comes to our civil liberties and endless war. And you know what?
He's the only one speaking up on so many things. It's unbelievable.
100%. So, hey, but you know what, Colanello? The difference is that we welcome your criticism even if you don't like Massey. We don't believe in this world of, oh my God, we've got to protect AOC. No, you don't have to protect.
I don't have a team. I don't have a team. I am teamless. So I go with whoever has the best idea to solve the problem that we're dealing with in the moment that we're dealing with it. That's how this is supposed to work.
Ronwell, you have been on fire this evening. Thank you so much for the $10. Heard of the TikTok ban? Never used TikTok since my young idol was banned there. Even I think it's unconstitutional. Don't like TikTok, don't use it. It's Thomas Massey and Rand Paul are consistent.
Exactly.
And we agree 1,000%.
We want to do a thing talking about this TikTok ban. We've talked about it in the past. We spoke about it when it first came up in the 6 month or whatever the deadline was put that it had to be divested from Chinese interests. I mean, we spoke about it then. As someone who's not on social media and have never TikToked. So it's not something that impacts my life, but I am vehemently against anything that is, one, anti-China. Okay, so let's be clear. This is also another means for China-phobia and building up consent to have issues with China. That's another problem I have with the anti-TikTok thing. But also, I'm just against censorship in general. But the fact that they're okay with it if it's not owned by China, are you freaking kidding me? Yeah. Everything that comes in this country is from China. If they wanted to kill us, they'd be poisoning all our shit anyway. Why the hell? But it isn't because it's China. Their issue is that they don't want young people seeing what's going on in Palestine.
No, they don't want well, that's part of it. But the other part of it is the people in power, the oligarchic infrastructure that exists at the very top in this society actually thinks that you're going to be able to censor your way to dealing with China overtaking us economically. It is not possible. It will not work. Do you know what you do when a country literally supersedes you in almost every conceivable way economically? You compete with them. The fact that we do not have a high-speed rail system in the United States is an indictment on us, not on China, because
all we excel at is might makes right. So how we win is by bullying. We no longer do diplomacy. We just bully everybody. And the rest of the world has had it with us. And truthfully, I'm so tired of people talking shit about China. What the hell have they done to us?
They're jealous. And that doesn't, and here's the thing.
No seriousness. How can someone please explain to me how China has hurt us? I don't understand.
And don't get me wrong. I don't think China is an innocent angel. I don't. I think there's a lot of things.
That's not my argument. That's not what I'm saying. But why are they a threat to us?
China is a threat to us in the sense that our economy is going to suffer mightily as a result because of the choices we make in terms of how we deal with them.
That's what I mean. It's not because of them. No. They didn't do anything to us. China doesn't have warships in the Gulf of Mexico like we have in the Sea of China. We have ships up their ass 24/7, and they're the threat. That's what I understand. Yes, they are a threat economically, but that's not because of them. That's because we're fucking stupid. And that's because we've done stupid shit and thrown money away and not invest in our own selves and not help our own people. That's on us. They pulled an entire country out of poverty in faster time than most civilizations have existed.
You could thank me for that, for passing that
and we are like still dragging our knuckles on the floor here. So I am so sick of it. China is not the problem. We are the problem.
We are the problem.
We are the global problem. Good for China, good for BRICS. Honestly, I want China to succeed more than us, because I want people to see that it is not might makes right and not weapons that is going to create leadership and does not help and does not solve problems. If China succeeds and is better than us economically and is able to dominate in that way, then they earned it, but they didn't do it by bullying their way around the world with military might. No. And that I want to see that works better.
On top of everything else, therein lies the sin of NAFTA and what ultimately became normal trade relations with China. And think about how bad things would have been if Hillary won instead of Trump in 2016. They absolutely would have passed the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And there's no telling how further into the sea we would be sinking at this point economically, because that trade deal would have substantially benefited China and screwed us in the process. You see, that's always been the problem. The biggest reason why China has been able to succeed over the last generation is because they took advantage of our greed. That's what they did. They
watched us basically throw away our entire economy except for military, hand it over to them. They took it willingly.
Absolutely.
They built up their economy. They're building up infrastructure in places like Africa, and they laugh at us. We're like toddlers to them. That's what I think. We're like petulant children that we have to just run out of steam before they can put us down for a nap, because these people cannot take us seriously. Honestly, I don't. And I think that I'm concerned about what's going to happen with Taiwan. I think that
Very concerned. You guys want to be concerned. You want to talk about saber rattling of the worst kind?
Yeah.
You know, that's another thing. Do I think that Trump is actually going to end the war in Ukraine? Yeah, he probably is. And you know what? We're totally going to get Taiwan.
And I don't think so. And I'm going to tell you, here's the thing, though. What's the guy's name over there? Who is that? Xi
Jinping.
Ping. Right. Trump respects people like that. Whether or not, whatever, let me tell you, he respects people.
He respects strong arm leaders. He does.
And I think that he recognizes, he might not say it, but he definitely knows what's going on.
Colinello, I don't know how close you are up on current events, but maybe you've heard of BRICS. It's not about China. It's about China's alliances with India, with Russia, with Brazil, and South Africa. And there are several other countries that are joining them now. And they are going to get to a point where they could actually get off of the US dollar.
Well, here's the thing. As of right now, my understanding from when we spoke about after the summit happened in Russia, the first real big BRICS summit, they are not in the process of creating a currency. They are not doing that. That is not what BRICS is doing. What BRICS is doing is they want to, and I know, hold for it, it's crazy. They want to trade in their own currencies. They do not want our bullshit dollars anymore that are based on nothing. They are tired of being basically economically hijacked by the bullies of the universe, us. The sanctions are crippling on so many of these countries. When we look at countries and we want to say, oh, look at Venezuela, they're a mess. They can't. Yeah, they're a mess because we have put so many sanctions on them that they can't have things that they need. Same as Cuba. And there's 100 other countries that we have sanctions on. And you know what? The rest of the world is sick of us bullying them. They are.
And this is exactly why, David, I agree with you. I have no doubt that the conditions in China are terrible. I am sure. Again, we know that slave labor exists because of our greed. They take advantage of the fact that we want shit like this. We want it every year, and we want it for pennies on the dollar. And the only way you get that
is not promoting China like that. Yeah, I'm not saying China doesn't have human rights issues. I'm not saying that. I am not a ping apologist.
This is where base chat is correct. China bullies their neighbors plenty, but they care more about their country and their power than American leaders who are sole concerned with selling out their crumbling up. Could not have said it better.
They care about themselves. Correct. They care about their people in that way. And I do understand that they have horrible working conditions. However, I also believe that if our country wanted to actually properly treat workers and have requirements that people we trade with and global partners have to have a baseline of sort of worker conditions, then that would set the standard. So we choose we choose to have a country like China do that because that benefits us financially as well. So
well, it's not just a question of Chinophobia or the
it is, though. It is.
Yeah.
It is Chinophobia.
But the issue with India is the alliance that is being formed between China, Russia, and India. That is very real.
Because they make up the majority of the world's population. And yet we have the worst environmental impact of all of it. And they make up the majority of people. They are sick of our shit. They are sick of our shit. They are sick of our worthless dollar. And they want to trade in their own currency.
Could you blame them?
How dare we even question somebody's like prerogative to do so?